Hi guys, today we are going to be working with a guided project for Chapter 4 in PowerPoint. So I'm going to click on the PowerPoint Chapter 3 and 4 group. I am going to go to the guided project for Chapter 4, which is Project 4.2. I can see that there are resource files, so I'm going to get those first. I'm going to click on the resource files, then open the folder at the bottom, and then I'm going to select all of them. Now I'm going to select all of them just by clicking and dragging. Then I'm going to right click on them and choose copy. I always save everything in my SS folder, so I'm going to right click and choose paste. That puts everything in there that I need. Now I can close my folders down, and I'm going to go to my start file, which is here, and then I'm going to open up the start file. When the yellow bar pops up, I am going to hit enable editing, and then I'm going to do a file save as, and I'm going to save this into my SS folder. So I'm going to browse. In my documents, I'm going to look for my SS folder or wherever you guys save your files and save it. So I can see in my slideshow I have 5 slides. So I have just done step 1 by opening and saving. So I'm going to go on to step 2. Now step 2 has us working with our slide master. My guess is you've never worked with a slide master before, and what a slide master is rather than putting the same picture on every single slide, you can put it on the slide master and it will automatically apply to all the slides. So you get to the slide master by going to your view tab, and over here right in master views I've got slide master. Now when I click on this, over here in my thumbnails I have a main slide that's a big slide, slide 1. This will apply to all slides no matter what the format is. And then this next one is the title slide layout. Then we've got title and content. And then we've got some other kind of slide layout. So if you only want something to apply to title and content slides, you would click on here. If you wanted to apply to all slides, no matter what the layout is, you click on slide 1. So step number 3 tells you to select the first layout. Okay, so the first layout is this one way at the top. Then it tells me to go to my view tab and select grid lines. So right now grid lines doesn't have a check mark by it. I'm going to check it, and now I can see these little textured like checkerboard pattern. These are invisible lines just to have me place things in the right area. Step C says go back to the slide master tab and then select the title placeholder. Now the title placeholder is click to edit master slide title slide. And then you guys are then going to press the down arrow several times so the top is even with the first horizontal grid line. So here's the top of my box. This dotted line is the top of my first horizontal grid line. So I'm going to, on my keyboard, press the down arrow until this kind of overlaps the dotted line. Step number D then says change the title placeholder size, height to 1 inch and width to 13.3. So I'm going to go to the drawing tools format here, and my height, I'm going to change my height to 1 inch, and I'm going to change my width to 13.33. Step E, it says click on your align button and choose align center. So in the drawing tools format tab, here's your align, and I'm going to choose align center. This is going to put it so it's exactly in the middle of my slide. Step F says change the shape fill to dark red accent 6, darker 50. So here's my shape fill. Here's my dark red accent 6, and I want to go all the way to the bottom for the darker 50. Step G then says change the font. So go back to your Home tab and change the font to Gabriola. That's in the G section, so I have to scroll down. Gabriola. And I want to change the font size to 60. And then I'm going to change it to a bold, and I'm going to give it a shadow. Here's my shadow button right here, and it puts a little shadow behind it. And then I'm going to change how close the characters are next to each other. So this AV button with the arrow underneath it is character spacing, and I'm going to give the characters a little bit more spacing and choose loose character spacing. Step 4, we want to insert an image. So I'm going to click off of my title placeholder just by clicking in the gray area, and then I'm going to go to my Insert tab and choose Picture. Now, if you downloaded those resource files, I want you to navigate to wherever you put those. So I put them in my SS folder. And I want you to choose Vine 104. And then I'm going to hit Insert. Looks like this little leafy kind of black thing right here. Step C says we want to change the height. So I'm going to go up here to the height, and I'm going to change the height to 4.5. And when I press enter, I will see that automatically my width is going to resize. So it automatically resized the width along with it. Step D says click my rotate button. So on my Picture Tools Format tab, here's my rotate button. And I want to choose flip horizontal first. That flips it so the leaves are on the other way. And then I want to choose rotate left 90 degrees. So now the stem is at the bottom right of my picture. I'm going to move on to step 5, step E. Step E says click the Align button. So here's my Align button, and I'm going to choose Align Top. This is going to put it on the top of my slide. And then I'm going to choose the Align button again and choose Align Right. This is going to put it on the top right corner. Step F says in the Arrange group, we are going to choose the Bring Forward button. So what this is going to do is if I pull this arrow down, I'm going to choose Bring to Front. If this was underneath this red title, it would have actually brought it to the front and now would have laid on top of it. So step 5, it says select my title slide. So right now I'm in my slide master that applies to all slides. I'm going to move down here and just choose my title slide layout, which is the second one down. Step B says in your Home tab, in your drawing group, you want to insert the rectangle shape. So I'm going to pull down all of my shapes. Now the fourth one over is going to be my rectangle shape. And I am just going to click and drag just to draw a rectangle anywhere. Doesn't even matter where it is. Once you've clicked and dragged and you have a rectangle and it's selected because you've got handles, now let's change the height and width. So the height is going to be 4.5 inches. And then the width is going to be 13.33 inches. And I'm going to delete what I just wrote in here. I'm going to backspace it. I shouldn't have anything in the box. Now with this rectangle still selected, I've got handles around the outside. Go to your Align tab and choose Align Top. This puts it on the top of the slide. And then go to Align Center. This puts it in the top middle of the slide. Now I can see that this is overlapping right now, so I'm going to fix that in a bit. Right now the color of my shape is this orangey color. I'm going to pull the Shape Fill button down, and I am going to choose Black Background 1. Now under the Outline, Shape Outline, I am going to choose No Outline. So now I've got a black box overlapping everything. Now I am going to go to my send backward button and I am going to pull the arrow down. I want to send this behind everything else, so it's the last thing stacked on the slide. So I'm going to choose send to back. Now I can still see I've got the black box, but everything else is overlapping it. Step 6, it says to select the title placeholder. So I'm going to select this title placeholder. You have to get handles around it. And then you guys are going to change the font size. So go back to your Home tab and change the font size to 80-point font. Change the width. So in the Drawing Tools Format tab, you guys are going to change the width to 9. So it gets a little smaller. And then you're going to choose your Align button and choose Align Top. And then you're going to pull a line down again and choose Align Center. Step D, it says let's change the shape fill. So let's go to your shape fill pull down, and I want you to choose no fill. So it kind of blends with that black background that is behind it. Now let's bring this forward. So I'm going to go to my bring forward button and choose bring to front. Now it doesn't really do anything because I think it was in front of most things already, but just to make sure, I don't want anything overlapping it. Now I'm going to click off of this text box, so I'm just going to click anywhere on the slide. I want to put another picture in on this title slide layout. So I'm going to go to Insert, choose Picture. I'm going to navigate to my folder that has all the pictures, and I'm going to pick the Vine 204, which is this one, and choose Insert. Now, I see that something got inserted because I got handles around it, but I can't really see it. So I'm going to mouse over it to get my four-sided arrow, and I'm going to drag it down to this gray area so I can at least see it. This is a leafy, viney thing again as well. Step C says, let's click the launcher to open up the Format Picture. So in your Picture Tools Format tab, your size group, open up this launcher to open it up. Now, when we resized the last image, when we did the height, it automatically changed the width. We don't want that to happen. So we have to uncheck this box, Lock Aspect Ratio. That way when we change the height, it will not change the width. So let's change the height to 2.5, and let's change the width to 11. And press enter. You guys can see it got a lot bigger. And then we can close this Format Picture pane down right here. Step F, it says using the grid lines to judge spacing, move the vine to the center of the gray area. So I'm going to kind of click and drag this so it looks like it's kind of centered in this gray area. And you guys use your best judgment to do that. Now, it tells me I've already done the slide master that applies to all slides. I've made some changes to the title slide only. Now I'm going to move down to the third layout, which is title and content. Tells me that I want to select the first two bulleted items, which are these two. And then in your Home tab, in your paragraph group, you're going to pull down the bullets button, and you guys are going to choose bullets and numbering here. So we're going to change our bullets. We want to use a picture. So click on the picture button, and then you guys are going to browse for those resource files that you downloaded. So I'm going to hit browse. In the resource files, I put them in my SS folder. So I'm going to click on Documents, and then I'm going to find SS, and it tells me I want to choose Note 4, and I'm going to hit Insert. Now I can see the first two bullets have changed to these music notes. Step 9, it says select the section header layout. So I'm going to mouse over this. Here I've got title slide layout. Here I've got title and content. Here I've got section header. So it's the fourth one down here in the slide master. It tells me to select the title placeholder. So I'm going to click on it so I get those handles, and I'm going to change the size. So in the Drawing Tools Format tab, I'm going to change the height to 3.5, and I'm going to change the width to 9.65. Then with this title placeholder still selected, go to your Align button and choose Align Right. And then move the placeholder so the top is even with the second horizontal line. Now this is the dotted grid lines here. So I'm going to put my mouse inside so I get the four-sided arrow. I'm just going to shift this up just so it overlaps with that dotted line. Step F says change the font size. So go to our Home tab and let's change the font size to 44. Then G says let's align the text. So in your Home tab, paragraph group, we want to select middle for the text, align text, which is right here. And then the subtitle placeholder is what's next. So I'm going to click on this box at the bottom. I've got handles on it. It tells me I want to change the font to Gabriola. So since I recently used it, it's here. Otherwise, you can scroll down to the G section. And I'm going to change the size to 36. And then I'm going to click bold and shadow. Now once I've got that, I'm going to do my align text and I'm going to choose middle. So it drops down to the middle of my box. And then it tells me to resize the placeholder so it kind of fits underneath this title one. So I'm going to make mine a little bit shorter, and then I'm going to drag it over so it's a little bit skinnier, and then I'm going to make it go all the way to the end of the slide, just like this. Now I'm going to keep going. Step L says click the rectangle tool and on your Home tab. So I'm going to click off of the subtitle. So in my Home tab, again the rectangle tool, and I'm just going to click and drag to draw one. For the size, the height is going to be 0.3 and the width is going to be 13.33. So it's just this skinny little triangle. With it still selected, click your Align button and choose Align Center. This centers it on the slide. And then let's change the shape fill to black, background 1, which is the first box. And then let's move it so it fits right above the title placeholder. So I'm just going to click and drag and move it down so it fits just right on top of this title maroonish kind of shape. Step 10, it says copy an image from a slide master. So on the first layout, I'm going to go back up here to the very top one. I have this leafy viney thing that I'm going to click on. I am going to press Control C to copy it, and then I'm going to press Control V to paste it. I can see that a second one got put in. I'm selected on that second one right now. It says to use my rotation handles to switch it so it gets put on the left. So when I do that, I'm going to go, my rotation handle is this little curly Q button here. I want to flip it so the stem is pointing at the top left. And I'm going to kind of drag it down so I can see it a little bit better. So top left is the stem. I'm kind of happy with this, top left. Now I actually put this on the wrong layout. So right now with it rotated, I am going to press Control X to cut it. And then it tells me I want to put it on the section header layout. So that's the fourth one down, and I am going to press Control V to paste it. So now I've only got one here, and I'm going to move it over so it kind of fits right next to this little red box here, and the stem is kind of pointing to it. So I should have a leafy kind of thing here on the top right of the first layout, and a leafy thing here at the bottom of the fourth layout. Now once I'm done with my slide master. So I'm going to click Close Master View. Now what I am going to see on every single slide, I should see this leafy thing here, which I do except the title slide because I drew a black box. Now slide 5 is the section header, and I can see I've got another leafy thing here. So what the slide master does is it allows you to put things in only once rather than over and over again on slides. Step 12 says display slide 1 and move the subtitle up. So here's the subtitle, and I'm going to click on it until I get a solid line. And it says to move it up until the date is in the dark red shape. I'm going to use my up key on my keyboard, and I'm just going to press my up arrow until May 19th is in this red line here. Step 13 says display slide 2. I notice I have bullets that are these round notes. I put that in the slide master. Step 14, it says display slide 3. I'm going to select the Smart Art graphic, which is this arrow, and I'm going to go to my Change Colors button. So Smart Art Tools, Design tab. And here's my Change Colors button. I am going to choose Dark to Fill, which is this third one over here. And then I'm going to apply an effect. So the effects are right here on Smart Art Styles, and I'm going to choose the Intense effect. So I'm going to kind of mouse over them until I get the Intense effect. Subtle, moderate, and Intense is the last one over. Step 15, it says go to slide 4. Here I've got my table, and it says select the table. So I'm going to click in the table, and I'm going to make sure that I've got handles around the table, and it tells me that I want to go to my Table Tools Design tab, and I want to change the style to Medium Style 2. So I'm going to pull this arrow down, I'm going to go to the Medium Styles, and I'm going to go to the second one down, which is Medium Style 2. I'm going to select all of the text in the table. So I'm just going to kind of drag to select everything. And I'm going to go to my Home tab. And I'm going to change my font to Gabriola. So I have to scroll down to my G section again for Gabriola. I am going to change the size to 24. And I'm going to apply bold. Now it says resize the table to align with the grid lines. So what I am going to do is I am going to just take this bottom corner handle, put my mouse over it so I get a two-sided arrow, and I'm going to drag it so it's on the corner of these dotted lines. Now step 16 says if you go to your View tab, we don't need these grid lines anymore. We've used them. I want them to go away, so I'm going to uncheck that box. Step 17, it says click on the New Slide drop-down. So I'm on slide 4 right now. I am going to go to my Home tab and choose my New Slide drop-down, and I'm going to choose Title Only, which is right here. Step B says in the title section, type in enjoy the show! Exclamation point. Now, once we're done typing that, click in the gray area of the slide and go to your Insert tab. We're going to put a picture in, so click Picture, navigate to wherever you've saved your picture, and click on the Violin 04 and click Insert. So you get a violin put in here. Now, once you've got the violin here, go to your Picture Tools Format tab and choose the Remove Background. Now I'm going to click on it, and it gets really kind of weird. all of this pink area it's seeing as the background, so it wants to remove that, kind of like a cutout picture. Well, I don't want to remove all of this because part of this is the violin. So first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to extend these handles up and down to include the whole violin. Then I am going to click Mark Areas to Keep. And I am going to kind of start clicking to make sure the violin is selected. And you might have to click a couple of times. And then I'm going to click Mark Areas to Remove. And I'm going to click in this white area around the back of the violin. Now once I've got just this pink area around the edges of the violin, I am going to choose Keep Changes. Now what I should see on the slide is you now have a cutout of the violin without any of that background part. Step 19 says just go through and make sure each of your slides looks good. Now we should have 6 slides in our slideshow. Save it, so Control S, and you guys are going to submit it. Now remember, as you're submitting it to Sam, you always get 2 tries to submit it. So if you're not happy with your first try, then you can go ahead and try it again.